Hello and welcome to my report for June 2023 on the electrical systems at our property in Huntingdonshire, England. Here's a simple diagram showing what's involved. You can find further details in the description below the video. This first graph shows the electrical energy coming into the property each day from the grid and from our two solar arrays. These figures come from the daily readings of the two solar generation meters and the electricity meter. The total solar production this month was 914 units, an average of 30.5 units per day. The lowest production was 13.4 units on the 6th, and the highest was 42.8 just a couple of days before on the 4th. 61 grid units were imported in total, with 4 at normal rate and the rest at economy 7 low rate. The car needed an overnight charge in the early hours of the 5th after our return from a trip to see family in Bristol, and that accounts for most of the grid usage in the month. 86 units were exported to the grid, according to the Tesla app, which was 8.8% of the total electrical energy coming in and 9.4% of the solar energy produced. Much of that export was during the 3 days we were away in the West Country at the start of the month. The solar contribution to the month's electricity input was 93.8%. This second graph shows how the electrical energy reached the property and the car either directly or via the Powerwall. The Tesla app supplies most of these figures, with the car's home charging figures coming from the My Energy app. 65.4% of the energy came directly from solar, and a further 27.9% was solar coming via the Powerwall, giving a total solar contribution to the energy used of 93.3%. The Zappi charger put 95.9 solar units into the car. We also charged from our grid on the 2nd and 5th and at the Airbnb in between. The energy to drive the 364.5 miles in June cost around 6.5 pence per mile. We did not do many more miles in the month as our car was injured during the trip to Bristol. Just 3 miles from our destination we hit a large pothole which ripped the outer wall of our tyre. We were transported to the Airbnb but had to wait until late on the Sunday to get the tyre changed by Halfords on the Drive. We had planned to leave first thing and be back home by then. On the return trip it became obvious that the pothole had upset the tracking, and the car also reported that it couldn't see ahead, so it was good old-fashioned driving without the help of adaptive cruise control. There was then a delay before the dealership could do the repairs. Back to the electricity. This graph shows the energy going into and coming out of the Powerwall each day, as reported by the Tesla app. 89.2% of the energy which went into the battery came back out. And this is the self-power graph, based on figures from the Tesla app, which reported that the proportion of self-power was 94.1%. This graph shows the solar southwest production over the years since installation. 541 units was the second best June over the 12 years, well above the month's arithmetic mean of 494.2 and the median of 500.5. This is the cumulative year-to-date graph for the same southwest array. 2023 has climbed from 6th to 4th place out of the 12 years, now having improved by 5 places in the past 2 months. Here's the graph which shows the daily output of the two solar arrays for the past 365 days. It looks as if early June is going to be the peak for this year. This is the distribution of the energy input and export for the whole of the past year, similar to the first graph, and this graph shows just the daily solar production for that same period. This final graph shows a summary of our grid electricity usage over the years since our move here in the summer of 2011. The grey and red lines show the number of low rate and normal rate grid units used each month as measured on the left-hand scale. The monthly electricity bill is shown by the yellow line and the right-hand scale, and the green line shows the monthly contribution to the feed-in tariff payments for the old Southwest Array's production. The green feed-in tariff line has reached a new high point due to the significant increase in rates from April because of the high rate of inflation. That's all for now. I'll leave you with the Tesla app graphs for each day of June and hope to see you again next month.